feel like I've been involved in a half-life and a waking life. And the separation came somewhere around the point of me realizing that my life had become a complete and utter catastrophe, and the things that I was doing were things that I had been conditioned to do, even though they opposed the things that I wanted to do from inside of myself. Back to high school, I dropped out of high school in 10th grade and struggled for about a year to get things going for myself, so I came back for 11th grade. I ended up dropping out again in 11th grade because I found myself being bored about the fact I've never felt like history in school really serves that much of a primary purpose. I feel like wouldn't we spend the same amount of time that we spend telling people about a calculated version of the past when we could be asking them how to calculate the future? So I left again in 11th grade. In that first year, I was a punk, a street rat, fighter. But at the time, I really just wanted to go out and pick fights. So it was like 3 months before my 18th birthday. I signed up for the Navy. I didn't tell anybody I did it. I didn't tell anybody I was leaving. I just signed the papers and took off. Made it through a couple weeks of boot camp, and I let everybody know where I was. And that's when it became kind of present in my thinking that something was wrong, that nobody noticed that I had been gone for a month. They weren't surprised that I had been gone for a month. They were just like, whatever. So I hit the straight and narrow, you know, and the military was a decent experience. It taught me a lot of valuable things. It started, you know, the process of me thinking kind of on the fringe. Instead of just looking at what's being given to me or what I'm being told, I started to look at why things are being given to people and why people are being told things. So I left the military kind of on fire, and I met my ex-wife. We were married, and I drove a truck for about 10 years. In that time frame, Adeline came around, and you know, life shifted towards being about us. And again, I'm hitting that straight and narrow, just going through my stride, but realizing that every single day, at least 100 times a day, in my head, I would say, like, don't say that, nobody cares about that. If I started to talk, people would, well, the people in my life at the time would say things like, please just stop. And like, hearing that come from my peers and a woman that I was supposed to spend the rest of my life with, it freaked me out a little bit. It did. I got really unhappy for a few years. I was very confrontational still. And that was just an expression of this deeper anger. And I finally I woke up one morning and it was less interesting to me to live that way. Impossible that this could be all life is. Pay bills, repeat, wake up, pay bills, repeat. It shifted things for me, and it opened up a line of communication that I had never experienced before. So I started to pour that into my life everywhere. I wanted to have that honesty and openness spill out. I began telling people exactly what I wanted, or exactly what I was willing to offer. I began believing that everything that I thought had potential to be something great. I started actively listening to people and what they were saying to me, not what I was hearing coming out of their mouth. I started realizing that we aren't everything that we feel, that the feeler and the witness of the feeling are two separate spaces, and that we're in control of which space we occupy at all times. I started not being afraid of emotion. I started loving. I started to realize that my gut always gave me the right answer, but my mind would have to come up with reasons to talk myself out of it. So I started focusing on friendships. I started listening to the source of all life and the echo of the reality that the universe has no center and no edge, and that God is everywhere. And at all points in time in your life, if you need something to speak with, that energy is there. It's waiting for you to send it a signal so that it can reply.